now this billet is 23 separate pieces of steel. My goal is to turn all of that into one solid piece.
Here we go!
I try to keep an eye on the temperature. Too cold, and it won't weld. Too hot, and the billet can crumble apart.
Now we grind the welds off the sides.
The billet still has some weld bead on it. If I leave that in, it could show up later as a line in the pattern, so I'm grinding it off now. While it's still hot, the billet grinds faster. Once that's cleaned up, it goes back into the forge. Forge welded beautifully. I don't see any cracks, but we won't know for sure until I start grinding into it.
Forge is really bad in there. It's like 35% of it's all fallen off. Getting ready to patch up the forge before we do any more forging in there. About 35% of the lining on the inside of the forge that protects the special insulation has fallen off. It helps the special insulation last a lot longer. It does make your forge a little bit less efficient though. Stuff just falling apart. Look at these chunks of this coating that are coming off the edge. I've always wanted to see if I could light my forge using the traditional Japanese method of just hammer and steel. Hi, it's me. In a circle? The other day, I was talking with my mom and she told me she'd been getting up to 3 calls a day. They were from strangers, people who knew her name and way too much about her. That doesn't seem soft. Is that work hardening? I need some mild steel here, man. Turns out a lot of that information lives on data brokers' sites. They're companies that collect, package, and sell your personal data without you ever really knowing it's happening. And once it's out there, it can be used for spam, scam, identity theft, stuff that hits a lot closer to home when it's your own mom. This isn't the right thing. I think it's way too coarse or something. This is about attempt 10. Let's try this again. Since I already have the Incogni Family Unlimited plan, I was able to get her set up at no extra cost. What I like is Incogni reaches out to data brokers on your behalf, sends the removal requests automatically, and keeps following up to make sure your information stays off those lists. And with their custom removal feature in the Unlimited and Family Unlimited plans, if you find a specific website exposing your personal information, you can send them the link, and their privacy experts will get it removed for you. You're not left trying to fight those sites on your own.
So if you want to take more control over your own personal information or help protect someone in your family, go to incogni.com/Royer and use code Royer for 60% off.
I'm good, and then I run out of juice. I tried about 30 times. I couldn't get it. My arm is shot. I'll try again in the future. For now, enjoy this. Whoa! It feels good knowing I can help my mom take back some control over her privacy.
And if you're watching on TV, you can just scan the QR code with your phone or head to incogni.com/Royer and use code Royer for 60% off.
Thank you, Incogni, for sponsoring this video. I gotta draw the billet out until it's 1 inch by 1.5 or about 3.5 feet long, whichever comes first.
If I don't draw this out enough, the final pattern won't look the way I want. When I pulled the billet out, the welds holding the billet couldn't support the weight. There's barely enough weld holding on. I think it might get me through this session.
And it's really hard to get stuff like this to weld when it's this hot.
I don't think this new weld will break. I like using these steel spacers as a press stop. This will help hit the dimension I want.
Going pretty good so far. The handle's staying on this time. I gotta keep drawing this thing out.
I start hammering the billet, trying to straighten it out.
Okay, that's not really moving.
I'm done forging it. The thickness is right. I'm just not sure I've got the length I wanted. Let's grind the scale off. I used to struggle cutting billets on the bandsaw. The blade I ran was about $65 each, so I was always trying to make it last. That made the cuts not great. Now I just use cheaper blades, 2 for around $40. I'll link them in the description.
Got the bar all cleaned off and it's measuring out 1 by 1.5 inches. It's kind of short though. I was hoping for like 3.5 feet and it's 31 inches. Because of that, we're gonna be wasting some tin 84 and nickel later on when we stack this back up. Let's dip the end in ferric chloride. There's the end of the bar. We've got our W's. Each one of these silver lines is our pure nickel sheet, with these two in the center being doubled up so they're twice as thick as these on the outside edges.
I'm marking where I want to cut the bar up. 7 equal lengths. I don't want to waste material. Steel adds up fast. I'm adding a little more steel to push the contrast. It'll make the pattern more interesting. Just a bit of CA glue to hold everything together for now. This is shaping up to be one of the most complicated builds I've put together. It's kind of wild thinking all these separate pieces are about to become one. As I'm welding it up, I can't help but wonder if the forge is going to hold, or if I'll be patching it again.
Let's take a look at the forge after using it for the first time, see how our patch job's holding up. I was a little unsure if I would have to patch it up right away after the first go since it was so bad, but I think we're good to go for a while. Got the billet all welded up, let's get it into the forge and smash it.
I'm aiming for about 2100 degrees before I smash. The billet was cold, so it took about 15 minutes to get up to temperature. After the first couple passes, it's already solid.
That is one monster billet. Now I've got to draw it out into a longer piece so we can re-square it.
I love watching the scale fall away as I forge it. I just keep drawing it out, getting it to the right size for what comes next.
On the next heat, we're going to re-square the billet and make it so the pattern on the inside goes across on a 45-degree angle.
Re-squaring can be tricky. I need to get the angle right on the first pass, or it's hard to fix later. So I go slow at first. Once that first pass is set, I can start pushing it more.
There it is, the billet is half re-squared. On the next heat, we'll flip it up like this and turn it back into a complete square with the pattern going across on a 45-degree angle. Now I've just got to keep drawing it out to about 2.5 feet long. It looks like it's 29 inches, so that's 1 inch shorter than what I was estimating. That'll work great.
let's see what we've got. Before we wrap this up, if you need prayer for anything, you can email us at prayforme@royerx.com. My mom personally reads every message and prays for each one. I will see you in the next video. May the forge be with you. Bye-bye!